right. So we're thinking about our next 5 moves, right, and trying to build some wealth.
Yeah.
But how do we get there?
Mm-hmm.
Should we be an intrapreneur or an entrepreneur?
Yeah. That's the question.
That's the question.
Big question.
Today, we are deep diving into Chapter 3 of Patrick Bet-David's Your Next 5 Moves to try to figure that out.
I love this chapter.
Oh, yeah?
It really gets you thinking beyond just follow your passion, you know? It's really about realistically looking at your personality, your goals, and how much risk you're comfortable with to figure out which path suits you best.
I think that's the thing that's so cool about this book.
Yeah.
Is that he's just like straight up.
Yeah.
He's not like sugarcoating anything. He's just like, here's the deal.
Yeah.
And the first thing Bet-David does is remind us that not everybody's meant to be an entrepreneur.
Right.
Like, it's totally okay if that's not your path. There's this whole world of entrepreneurship, which basically means innovating and making waves within a company.
Yeah, and I think that's such a crucial point because we're often bombarded with these messages about starting our own business, you know? But Bet-David really emphasizes that you can be incredibly successful and impactful by working within an existing structure.
So how does he differentiate between those two paths?
Well, he uses this great analogy of lions and sheep.
Okay, I love this.
He says lions build empires and they lead people. So the question is, do you see yourself more as a lion or a sheep?
Okay, so this analogy, I think, really paints a vivid picture.
Yeah.
Because you can almost like see it in your mind.
Absolutely.
It highlights the core difference, right?
Yeah.
That entrepreneurs are often those lion personalities who thrive on building something from nothing.
From scratch.
From scratch.
Yeah.
But entrepreneurs, those lions who are already inside of a company, they can be just as impactful.
Yeah.
Driving change and growth from within a system that already exists.
Totally. And the chapter goes deep into what makes someone a successful entrepreneur.
Oh, yeah.
You know, what are the factors that companies use to foster that kind of spirit?
Yes.
You know, it boils down to creating a culture of innovation where open communication is valued and those lion employees who drive growth are rewarded.
Remember that famous Google 20% rule?
Oh, yeah.
Where employees could spend 20% of their time just working on passion projects?
Yeah.
That's how Gmail was born?
I know.
Crazy.
That's a great example.
That's such a cool thing to think about.
Yeah.
Having that kind of freedom and support within a company.
Absolutely. That's a prime example of what Bet-David is talking about. Yeah. He even shares his own experience as an aspiring entrepreneur. You know, he was at a big insurance company and he was pitching ideas to the higher-ups.
Okay.
It didn't go as he had hoped.
Really?
Which kind of underscores the point that even if you have the drive and that lion mindset, the company culture needs to be there.
Right.
For it to work.
It needs to be the right fit.
Yeah. You could have all the potential in the world.
Right.
But if the company is not set up
to like foster that.
Yeah, to nurture and reward.
To reward that entrepreneurial spirit.
It's just not going to work.
And I love that he even calls out that sometimes. Like, you know, even a lion needs the right terrain to thrive in.
Absolutely.
So that's a good reminder that fit is everything. And this leads to another key point Bet-David makes.
Yeah.
Self-awareness is crucial.
So important.
It's not just about chasing a job title.
Right.
This chapter really prompts you to dig deeper.
Yeah.
Figure out what role really suits you best.
Exactly. Are you meant to be the founder, the CEO?
Yeah.
The sales leader?
The number 2.
Even the number 2 person.
Yeah.
Supporting that visionary leader.
I love that he doesn't assume everybody wants to be the CEO.
Right.
He even talks about this guy named Sean, who realized he was happiest, having a comfortable income, and plenty of time with his family.
I love that story.
It challenges the assumption that we all have to be aiming for the top.
Right. Sometimes a different kind of success is more fulfilling.
So let's say you are leaning towards this entrepreneurship route.
Okay.
How do you even spot those golden opportunities within a company? What are you looking for?
Well, he provides some valuable insights for companies that are looking to attract and retain top talent. You know those lions that we've been talking about? Think about Microsoft's $1 trillion valuation.
Oh, wow.
It's a testament to their ability to cultivate entrepreneurship within their ranks.
So they've like cracked the code
on
creating a system that outlasts any single leader.
That's the key.
And that's what's so fascinating about this whole concept of entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
It's not about just one person's brilliance.
Right.
It's about creating a culture where innovation can thrive generation after generation.
And that's where compensation comes in.
Okay, let's talk money.
Bet David argues that companies need to get creative
Okay.
to incentivize entrepreneurs. It's not just about throwing money around.
Right.
It's about creating a structure where top performers feel valued
Yeah.
and invested in the long-term vision.
He talks about stock options,
Yeah.
bonuses, things that make employees feel like they have real skin in the game.
Yeah, it's not just a job anymore.
Right, exactly.
And it ties back to that idea of golden handcuffs.
Yes.
You know, sometimes people stay in jobs that make them miserable.
Right.
Simply because they're comfortable or afraid to take risks.
So how do you create a structure where people are like excited to come to work,
Right.
to contribute their ideas, and to feel like they're a part of something bigger?
That's the million-dollar question.
That is the million-dollar question.
Bet David suggests that companies need to move beyond traditional compensation models.
So what does that look like?
Okay, so imagine a company that, in addition to a salary, offers a percentage of the profits generated from each project
Interesting.
that an employee spearheads.
Oh.
Suddenly, you're not just an employee,
Yeah.
you're an owner
You're an owner.
with a direct stake in the outcome.
That changes everything.
It does.
That's the difference between working for a paycheck
Yeah,
and working for a piece of the pie.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're invested in the success of the project,
Yeah.
the team, the entire company.
That's the thing.
And that's the kind of system that attracts and retains those high-performing lions.
Makes sense.
And it's fascinating how Bet David connects this back to the bigger picture.
Okay.
You know, he argues that both paths, intrapreneurship and entrepreneurship, offer unique rewards.
Right.
The key is figuring out which one aligns best with your definition of success.
It's not a one-size-fits-all.
No.
He even encourages readers to ask themselves, if I were to stay within a company, what would make it a no-brainer to stay? What kind of environment and compensation would make me feel like I'm thriving?
Those are powerful questions.
Yeah.
Especially if you're feeling that entrepreneurial itch,
Right.
but not quite ready to jump to
Not
it.
ready to like go all in.
Yeah.
Okay, so that reminds me of another key point in this chapter,
Okay.
the personal identity audit that Bet David recommends.
Yeah.
He suggests like taking a hard look at your values, your strengths, your weaknesses.
Yep.
What kind of life do you want to create?
It's such a valuable exercise,
Yeah.
and it goes beyond just picking a job.
Yeah, it's about like figuring out who you are at your core.
Exactly.
What matters
What truly matters to you.
to you.
Yeah.
And this chapter provides like a framework for doing that.
A blueprint.
It's like a blueprint for self-discovery.
Exactly, and I think that's what makes this chapter so powerful. It's not just about choosing between entrepreneurship and entrepreneurship.
Right.
It's about understanding yourself,
Yeah.
your motivations, and ultimately what path
What path is for you?
will lead you to a fulfilling and financially rewarding life.
I want to loop back to something you mentioned earlier
Yeah.
about compensation.
Yes.
Bet David talks about this concept of investment time return, or ITR. Can you explain what that means
Absolutely.
and why it's so important for both entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs?
ITR is all about analyzing your investments,
Okay.
not just in terms of money,
Okay.
but also in terms of time.
Okay.
It's about recognizing that time is a valuable resource,
Yeah.
just like money.
Okay, so it's not just about how much money you're spending,
Right.
but how long it'll take to see a return on that investment.
Exactly.
Okay.
Bet David gives a great example of a company deciding whether to invest $1 million to streamline their operations.
Okay, $1 million. That's a lot.
On the surface, $1 million sounds like a huge expense.
Right, makes you think twice.
But when they analyzed it through the lens of ITR,
Okay.
factoring in the potential time savings and increased efficiency,
Mhm.
it actually became a no-brainer.
Really?
It would save them time and money in the long run.
So it's like a cost-benefit analysis,
Yes,
but with time as like a key variable.
precisely.
Okay.
And Bet David encourages everyone, whether you're running your own company or working within one,
Yeah.
to think about ITR when making decisions.
Okay.
Will this investment ultimately save me time and resources in the future.
That's such a valuable concept.
Yes.
It's like he's giving you a new framework
Yeah.
for evaluating opportunities,
Yeah.
making strategic decisions.
Absolutely. And it can apply to all sorts of situations,
Like what?
from hiring decisions to marketing campaigns.
Oh, wow. Okay, so we've talked about the allure of entrepreneurship,
Yes.
the importance of self-awareness, and this whole power of ITR.
Yes.
But what about the flip side?
Okay.
What are some of the potential downsides?
Yeah, what are the challenges?
Challenges of being an entrepreneur.
Well, one of the biggest challenges can be navigating company politics and bureaucracy.
Ugh, I can imagine.
Even if a company has a culture that encourages innovation, there will always be systems and processes in place.
It's not always that simple.
Right. It's not always as simple as having a brilliant idea.
Right.
And watching it come to life overnight.
And then everybody's like, great idea, let's do it.
Exactly.
It doesn't always work that way.
Entrepreneurs need to be skilled at building relationships.
Okay.
Influencing stakeholders.
Mm-hmm.
Effectively communicating their vision.
So like you're a diplomat.
Yes.
You need to be able to navigate those complex dynamics.
Absolutely.
And build consensus to move your ideas forward.
Exactly. And that can be a challenge.
Yeah.
Especially for those who are used to working independently.
Right.
Or in more entrepreneurial settings.
Where they can just like make the call.
Right.
And then do it.
Exactly. So it's not just about having great ideas.
It's about having the people skills.
Yeah.
And the political savvy.
You know how
to make those ideas a reality.
to navigate that system.
Within a larger organization.
Yes. And that brings us to another point that David makes in this chapter.
Okay.
About the importance of building the right team.
Oh, yeah, this is a big one.
He has some strong opinions about hiring the right people,
Yeah.
but also, and perhaps more importantly, about firing people effectively.
Oh, firing gently.
Firing gently.
It sounds kind of counterintuitive.
Right.
How do you fire somebody gently?
Well, it's about recognizing that sometimes letting someone go
Yeah.
is the best decision for both parties.
Okay.
And when that happens,
Yeah.
it's about handling the situation with empathy and respect.
So it's not about being like ruthless or cold-hearted.
No.
It's about acknowledging that sometimes it's just not the right fit.
Right.
And that's okay.
And that's okay.
Okay.
Bet David emphasizes that firing someone doesn't have to be this big dramatic event.
You don't have to like make a big show of it.
No, it's about giving clear feedback,
Okay.
providing opportunities for improvement, and ultimately making a clean break.
So you're not like dragging it out.
Right.
Which just makes it worse for everybody.
Exactly.
All right.
He even stresses the importance of not beating around the bush.
Right. Be direct.
If you've given someone ample opportunity to improve and it's not happening,
Yeah.
it's actually kinder to let them go.
Let them go and find something that's a better fit.
Yeah, so they can pursue something that's a better fit.
Okay.
For their skills and their goals.
So firing gently is about being direct,
Mm-hmm.
honest, and respectful.
Yes.
Even when it's a difficult conversation to have.
Absolutely. And that leads to another interesting point that David makes about due diligence when hiring.
Oh, yeah? What's
He
that?
says you need to be almost like a detective,
Oh,
gathering information,
okay.
observing how potential hires behave in different situations.
Like you're vetting them.
Yeah, he even compares it to how the mafia vets people.
Wait, okay.
He uses this example from the book and the movie Donnie Brasco
Oh, yeah.
about an undercover FBI agent who infiltrated the Bonanno crime family.
Okay.
You know, they understand the importance of doing thorough research
Right.
before bringing someone into the inner circle.
Yeah, you don't want to bring in the wrong person.
It's a matter of protecting yourself and your business.
Makes sense.
So he's not suggesting you need to go to those extremes.
Right.
But the point is, careful vetting is essential.
Yeah.
Especially when you're building a team.
Right. You're bringing people into your circle.
You need to make sure those individuals share your values,
Yeah.
your vision,
Right.
your commitment to ethical behavior.
And speaking of ethics,
Yeah.
Bet David has a strong moral compass.
Yeah, he does.
He's not afraid to call out bad behavior.
No, he's not.
He even shares a story about firing his top-performing agent.
Right.
Because that agent was engaging in some unethical, potentially illegal activities.
Well, that must have been a tough decision.
Especially since that agent was bringing in a lot of revenue.
Right.
But it just speaks to his commitment to his principles.
Right. His integrity.
He understood that short-term gains
Yeah.
weren't worth compromising his integrity or
Uh-huh.
the reputation of his company.
It's a powerful reminder that sometimes doing the right thing means making difficult choices.
Mm-hmm.
And it highlights the importance of having a strong moral compass,
Yeah,
especially as you gain more success and influence.
absolutely. And it's not just about avoiding unethical behavior.
Right.
It's about actively creating a company culture
Yeah.
that values integrity, honesty, and transparency.
And it starts with the leader setting the example.
Okay, so we've talked about building the right team, making tough decisions,
Yes.
and the importance of ethics.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I want to touch on another key concept from this chapter,
Okay.
scaling your business.
Oh, yeah.
Bet David talks about two types of growth,
Okay.
linear and exponential.
Let's break those down.
Yeah, what are those?
So linear growth is about steady incremental progress.
Okay.
It's like climbing a ladder one rung at a time.
Okay, I got it. So linear growth, slow and steady, wins the race.
Right.
Exponential growth is like a rocket ship taking off.
Exactly.
Right.
And Bet David argues that a lot of entrepreneurs get stuck in that linear growth mode.
Right, they're just kind of like shugging along.
They're so focused on the day-to-day operations
Yeah.
that they forget to step back and look at the bigger picture.
They get lost in the weeds.
Exactly. He
Yeah.
challenges everyone to think like a CEO
Okay.
and focus on those strategic initiatives
Yeah.
that will drive exponential growth.
So what kind of things are we talking about here?
Things like creating innovative campaigns, building strategic alliances,
Okay.
and most importantly, developing leaders within your organization.
Developing leaders. Why is that so crucial for exponential growth?
Because you can't do it all yourself.
Right.
To truly scale your business, you need to empower others to lead, to innovate, to drive growth within their own areas of expertise.
So it's about creating a system where those lions within your company can unleash their full potential.
Precisely. And that's how you build a company
Okay.
that's not reliant on any one person.
You're not the bottleneck.
Right.
Yeah.
It's about creating a culture of leadership
Yeah.
that will sustain growth for years to come.
That makes a lot of sense. It's like building a self-sustaining ecosystem
Yeah.
where everyone has the potential to thrive and contribute to the overall success.
Exactly. And while momentum is incredibly powerful,
Yeah.
that David acknowledges that there's a dark side to rapid growth.
Oh, really?
He cautions that it can lead to temptations
Okay.
and even moral compromises.
It's easy to get caught up in the pursuit of success.
Right.
And kind of lose sight of your values.
He talks about how easy it is to cut corners, take shortcuts,
Right.
or even engage in unethical behavior
Yeah.
to achieve those ambitious goals.
To hit those numbers.
And that's why he emphasizes the importance of having a strong moral compass, surrounding yourself with people who will hold you accountable,
Yeah.
and staying true to your values,
Yeah.
even when faced with those tempting opportunities.
He talks about this idea of never again moments. Those times when you felt underestimated, overlooked, even outright rejected,
Right.
and using those feelings as fuel to drive you forward.
That's powerful.
But how do you balance that drive
Right.
with staying grounded and ethical?
He shares a story about confronting one of his employees, Danny,
Okay.
who was partying a little too hard
Okay.
and letting his personal life interfere with his work.
Was this one of his top performers?
Danny was one of his top performers.
He still called him out.
Yeah, but David wasn't afraid to have that tough conversation.
Okay.
He cared about Danny's well-being.
Yeah.
And he knew that Danny had the potential to achieve great things,
Right.
both personally and professionally. So he challenged Danny to step up.
To get his act together.
Yeah, to take responsibility for his actions and to prioritize his goals.
And it sounds like that tough love paid off.
It did.
Bet David mentions that years later, Danny reached out to thank him
Oh, wow.
for that confrontation,
Oh.
explaining that it was a turning point in his life.
So it really made a difference.
It's a reminder that sometimes the best way to help someone
Yeah.
is to be honest with them,
Be straight up.
even when it means delivering difficult feedback.
And it's about believing in their potential
Yes.
and pushing them to become the best version of themselves.
Even if they might resist that push in the moment.
Exactly. That's what's so cool about this.
It is.
It's like he's saying, like, look, I believe in you.
right.
I know you can do better.
I see your potential.
And that's a powerful message to send to somebody.
It's a powerful reminder that leadership isn't just about giving orders or setting targets.
It's about guiding,
It's about guiding
supporting, inspiring those around you.
to achieve their full potential.
And one of the things that really sets Bet David apart as a leader,
Is his genuine care for his employees.
yes, He's not just focused on profits.
He's invested in their personal growth
Absolutely.
and overall well-being.
And it goes beyond just offering a good salary and benefits package.
He takes the time to understand their individual needs, their motivations.
Their love languages, as he calls them.
So he's saying you need to understand what makes people tick,
Mm-hmm.
what motivates them, what makes them feel valued.
What makes them feel appreciated.
And appreciated.
Exactly. And he even uses this analogy of hot buttons.
Hot buttons, okay.
You know, everyone has those specific triggers that when pressed really get them going. And knowing those hot buttons, those unique motivators, is key to effective leadership.
So it's like speaking their language.
Yes.
Figuring out what makes them feel seen and appreciated.
And motivated.
Motivated to perform at their best.
Absolutely. And Bet David encourages leaders to really pay attention, to observe those subtle cues and listen to what their employees are saying, both verbally and non-verbally.
So you got to be a good listener.
You got to pay attention.
Okay.
It's about understanding their aspirations, their fears, their values, and what drives their behavior.
And it's not just about understanding their motivations.
Right.
It's about giving them space to make mistakes.
Yes.
Learn from those experiences.
Bet David's a big believer in letting your lions run free.
Oh, yeah. Let them run.
Even if that means they might stumble along the way.
Yeah, let them make mistakes.
He says it's about empowering them to make decisions, take ownership, and even fail sometimes.
Okay.
Because that's how they learn, grow, and ultimately become more effective leaders themselves.
That's about trusting them.
Yes.
To figure things out and providing support when they need it.
Right.
Not micromanaging or constantly looking over their shoulder.
Right. He talks about creating a culture where it's safe to take risks, experiment, and even make mistakes.
Yeah.
Because those experiences are often the most valuable learning opportunities.
Okay, and that ties into another important concept from this chapter.
Yeah.
This idea of building a culture of ownership within a company.
I love this.
Making your employees feel like they have a real stake in the company's success.
And Bet David says creating that sense of ownership goes beyond just offering stock options or profit sharing.
Yeah. Okay, so what else is there?
It's about giving them real responsibility, empowering them to make decisions, recognizing their contributions in a meaningful way.
It's about making them feel like they're not just working for a company.
Right.
They're building something they can be proud of.
Exactly. And that kind of pride,
that pride of ownership,
that sense of ownership translates into a deeper commitment,
a
stronger work ethic, and ultimately a more successful company.
You know, it's interesting because while this chapter focuses on building wealth, Bet David also acknowledges that true success is about more than just money.
Right.
He really emphasizes the importance of building a fulfilling life, both personally and professional.
Absolutely. He talks about setting boundaries,
Okay.
managing your time effectively, and making sure you're not sacrificing your personal life for the sake of your career.
Okay.
He even shares a story about his wife.
Okay.
And how they sat down early in their relationship.
Oh, wow.
To discuss their expectations, their goals, their potential deal breakers.
It's like a prenup for their lives.
Yeah. He uses that analogy to highlight the importance of being clear about your non-negotiables.
Okay.
Your values.
Yeah.
The things that are truly important to you in a relationship.
So set those boundaries and expectations up front.
Yes.
Avoid the conflicts and misunderstandings down the road.
Right. And it's about having those tough conversations early on.
Okay.
To make sure you're both committed to building a life that works for both of you.
That's huge.
Both personally and professionally.
Yeah.
And this leads into another one of Bet David's strengths.
What's that?
His expertise in negotiation.
Okay, Mr. Negotiation.
He shares some really valuable insights into how to approach those high-stakes discussions.
Oh, yeah, I'm all ears.
He says, preparation is key.
Okay.
And he even provides like a step-by-step guide
on
how to prepare for a major negotiation.
Right.
He talks about understanding the other party's needs, anticipating their potential objections, and coming to the table with a clear understanding of your own goals and walk-away points.
So know what you're willing to concede on.
Yes.
What's non-negotiable.
Exactly.
And have that confidence to walk away.
Be willing to walk away.
If it doesn't meet your needs.
Exactly. And he emphasizes that negotiation isn't about being aggressive or trying to bully the other party.
Right.
It's about finding a solution that works for everyone involved.
So win-win
A
situation.
win-win situation.
Okay.
It's about understanding that a successful negotiation is one where both parties feel like they've gained something valuable.
Okay, so it's more about collaboration,
Yes.
not confrontation.
Exactly. And one of his most powerful pieces of advice
What's that?
is to always be willing to walk away from a deal. He
Oh,
says having that leverage, that
yeah.
ability to walk away,
Okay.
actually puts you in a stronger position to negotiate.
Because you're not desperate.
Right.
You know your worth
Yes.
and what you bring to the table.
Exactly. And when you know your worth,
Yeah.
you're less likely to settle for less than you deserve.
All right, so we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
We've talked about the differences between intrapreneurship and entrepreneurship, the importance of self-awareness,
Yes.
building the right team, scaling your business,
Yeah,
and even the importance of having that strong moral compass.
absolutely.
What are some of the key takeaways from this chapter
Okay.
that listeners can start applying to their lives today?
One of the biggest takeaways is that there's no single path to wealth.
Okay.
It's about finding the path that aligns with your personality,
Mm.
your goals, and your values.
And that might mean starting your own business.
Right.
Or finding the right company where you can thrive as an entrepreneur.
Exactly.
And he gives you the tools to start figuring that out.
He does.
Like that personal identity audit we talked about.
Yeah, it's all about self-discovery.
Right. And another key takeaway is the importance of continuous learning and growth.
Never stop learning.
Never stop.
Whether you're an entrepreneur or an intrapreneur,
Right.
the world is constantly changing.
Yeah.
You need to be adaptable and willing to evolve.
You got to stay ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
He also emphasizes the importance of mentorship,
Yes.
both finding mentors
Yeah.
and being a mentor to yourself.
Giving back.
It's about surrounding yourself with people who inspire you,
Right.
challenge you to become the best version of yourself.
I love that.
And finally, I think one of the most powerful messages in this chapter is the importance of believing in yourself and your potential.
It all starts there.
Bet David's own story is a testament to that.
It is
He came from humble beginnings and achieved incredible success
through hard work
through hard work, determination,
and an unwavering belief.
unwavering belief in his ability to make those dreams a reality.
Powerful.
It's inspiring.
It is.
So as we close out this deep dive
Yeah.
into Patrick Bet David's Your Next 5 Moves,
Amazing book.
I think the biggest takeaway is this.
What's that?
It's not just about choosing a career path
Okay.
or making a certain amount of money.
Right.
It's about becoming the best version of yourself
Yes.
and making a real impact on the world.
It's about defining your own version of success.
Yeah.
Building a life that aligns with your values.
Right.
And leaving a legacy that matters.
And that's a message that resonates with all of us,
It does.
no matter where we are in our journey.
Absolutely.
So if you're ready to make your next big move,
Yeah.
take Bet David's advice to heart.
Yeah. Study the game.
Study the game.
Master the fundamentals.
Master the fundamentals.
And never underestimate the power of your own potential.
Your own potential.
Love it.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time.
See you then.
Thanks for listening. Did you enjoy what you heard? Want to buy this book? Please use the link in the description to support the channel.